Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Sokcheng from Cambodian Development Resource Institute. Today I'm going to present about the effect of parent migration on left behind children's schooling in rural Cambodia. The study was funded by PEP, Partnership for Economic Policy, and we have 4 members. I am team leader and our mentor was Professor Francesca from France. Thank you for the opportunity to present our work here in this important World Congress. Without further delay, today's content includes backgrounds, motivation and objectives, methodology and data, finding, and conclusion and policy recommendations. For education in Cambodia, enrollment in primary education is almost 100%, but much lower in secondary education, especially in rural area. We can see that there is a high repetition and dropout rates, especially in secondary education. This is caused by demand and supply side factors. For supply side, demand side factors include poverty, migration, education, household chores, farm works, health problems, etc. For supply side factors, geographical location and conditions such as distance to school. For context of migration in Cambodia, according to population census survey, about 25% of total population change their residence in Cambodia. They include rural to rural, rural to urban, to Phnom Penh to find work in garment factory constructions, urban to urban, and we also have a lot of international migration to work, especially to Thailand. Push factors include poverty, lack of employment, lack of alternative source of income, landless, death, etc. Pull factors include wage differentials, geographical proximity, and migrant networks. Migrant people normally not complete lower secondary education and have lower monthly incomes and normally have personal debt. We can see that the average monthly wage in Cambodia is double or triple lower than migrant countries like Thailand or Malaysia. Around 20% of migrant households have at least 1 child under 18. They live without parents, without grandparents, or some without any relative. They live alone. Here's the picture of returned migrant from Thailand a few years back. So, in literature, there are 2 channels affect child education. One is remittance, second is absence of adult members, parental care, and child works. In Cambodia, rural migrants have concerned Ministry of Education that it may impact on human capital and social problems. Migrants have been emphasized by policymakers and researchers, but support have not yet taken. Research on migration and human capital is not vigorous, especially relation between migrant and left behind children. This study will investigate the impact of parent migration on child educational outcomes. We use propensity score matching or PSM in this study. We use CDRI panel data in 3 ways. The main analysis used 2014 and we used 2011 to calculate baseline score and 2017 for a bonus test. The data is at children levels. We also do the comparison with national data, and our data is quite similar with national data. We define international migrant as those whose current residence is in Thailand or other country. For internal migrants are those who current resident in Phnom Penh or other province beside their own province. And the reason of migrant is to get a job or to find a job. For treatment arrival, we have either parent migrants, either parent migrant internationally, absent either parents, no parent migrant but other members. For outcome variable, we use year of schooling. For control variable, we use consumption in 2011, household size, number of working members, dependent ratio, working women, mother age, mother education, father age, father education, sick dummy, child age, and village dummy. Here is the distribution of child in samples by parent status. We have mother, no mothers, no father, home mother, left mother, internal migrant mother, international migrant mother. In total, we have around 127 samples that have either parent migrants. Here is the mean of year of schooling by age and by treatment and control. Here the descriptive statistic between treat and non-treat group. Now come to the result of PSM. First, we look at the logic models. The overall goodness of fit measured by pseudo R-square is 0.31. Here's the result that we use nearest neighbors and kernel matching. You can see that pseudo R-square is much lower. It means that it's good fit. We also correct the residual imbalance using bias adjust 80. We can see that the coefficient range from minus 0.3 to minus 0.4, and it's significant around 5%. This means that children that have parents migrant have lower year of schooling than non-migrant children. So, is it the real effect? No, not yet, because we depend on assumption of the selection on the observable. The children left behind might differ in relevant unobservable characteristics. For example, parents have no concern or lower concern over their children's education. So we do the fortification test using treatment in 2017. The placebo treatment is not significant. Those we don't need to worry about unobservable. However, we further conduct robust tests to confirm the effect. First, we use different definitions. One is internal migrant. We can see that it's significantly negative. For international migrant, also significantly negative, but it's a little bit higher coefficient. We filter children by age, and we use older children, and it's significantly negative also. We use effect of other migrant, it's also negatively significant. We also test the effect on the outcomes in 2017, and it also negatively significant. How about child at work? We also test the child work labor, but it's not significant. We test the effect of other household member, but it's not significant. From this table, we can conclude that negative effect of parent migrant on children's school link outcome does not pass through child work channel. In summary, children of migrant parents lag significantly behind in terms of complete year of schooling. It estimates around half a year difference, especially in rural areas. And the effect is strong for older children. The effect persists over time, and there's no effect of other household member and child labor, and no effect on child labors also. For recommendation, we recommend to establish special education support program for less behind children. Support is needed for children that age 12 to 19. Policy that promote rural employment for women. Policy that encourage rural parents to take their children to urban areas when they migrate. Thank you for your attention, and thanks Pep for technical and financial support.